Welcome back, everybody, here to the coverage of the ESL 1 Frankfurt 2015 qualifiers for the European Division. Cloud9 one game up over Na'Vi. MW1 joined by Honey, formerly retired professional player. Ish is the good word. Here in the studio for game number 2. What a surprise that Visage is banned out by Na'Vi in the first 2.
Yep, definitely a
Big surprise.
Good answer to what C9 has previously run in the last game, and I think it was well deserved. These two heroes have given Na'Vi by far the biggest struggle, by far. Familiar Birds as well as Dragon Knight in the mid lane. They had to adjust their lanes. Originally, I believe Na'Vi wanted to run a Queen of Pain middle. They chose to run different lanes, and now I'm surprised by how C9 is going to answer to that.
Yeah, well, they're the ones with the open draft. At the same time, I think I almost want to put it into the hearts, like, everything is OP, but nothing is OP at the same time. Like, you could pick up almost anything which is in the meta right now. Any kind of hero which is in the pool is draftable. So they're not really bottlenecked into one area.
5 seconds remaining.
It's just removing these favorites, like heroes like the Visage, heroes like the Wisp. It's all about the combos that they would work with. So, yeah. I am interested to see, too, what MV has planned. There's a lot still on the lines for this game, but you might also find it. I'm not going to say he's going to hide any strats because obviously that's meh. But he might be willing to experiment a little bit more with some of the other thoughts he had, just knowing that if they win this game, they qualify for a major LAN event with over $250,000 worth of prize money up for grabs.
Definitely, there's a lot on the line here, and the opening by Na'Vi here with a Beastmaster as a counter to what Fada usually would pick. I know that for a fact that C9 runs the Beastmaster, but now with a follow-up pick by C9 here, they know what's the counter to Beastmaster. Beastmaster gets very, very hardly countered by Night Stalker, because Beastmaster is all about division during daytime with a Hawk, while Night Stalker will prevent all of this.
Yeah, 1, keeping it nighttime, and 2, if you can get that Aghanim Scepter, well, who's got the better vision? At that point, I'd say it'll be Night Stalker and Gyrocopter. This hero has seen a very big resurgence, just obviously in the new patch, but we've seen him in support roles, a hell of a lot of core roles. In fact, that was what Na'Vi were running last night. When they ran their Gyrocopter, they had a Vorce on the back of that one. Alliance were actually even throwing it into a support role, so Arke was experimenting around with playing that Gyrocopter with Shadow Demon combinations. So, yeah, it's interesting to see Gyrocopter back in the world of the drafted.
Definitely. I mean, Gyrocopter can fit into pretty much any role. I mean, maybe offlane would be the hardest to potentially pull him off, but he can definitely be a core role. He can be middle. He can be if played as a carry. He can just be played as a zoning hero. Probably one of the best zoning heroes, just because there's hardly any hero that can deal with a barrage level 1. Queen of Pain is probably maybe one of those heroes that can just blink out, but generally, just looking on offlane heroes, there's going to be, you have a hard time, especially with the change in barrage where it doesn't take any time anymore to cast it. So you, given Gyrocopter being a very fast hero, you don't even have to struggle getting close to hero. Yeah. So once you get in barrage range, you activate it, and it's just going to deal a lot of damage to that target.
It's actually what we saw from Arcane in their MLG game last night, where you ended up, like, you saw him coming in, and he had boots, and he was going up against a Vengeful Spirit, who also had boots first as a support. This is a level 1 versus level 1 fight. And Gyrocopter still had an extra 20 movement speed over on the Vengeful Spirit. So you couldn't run away from him, and if there was a time you had to stop to cast your Rocket Barrage, then maybe you'd have some distance, but Arke, I never even saw him stop. It was this perfect, smooth transition. Just keep running, turn it on, keep running, and you could say goodbye to the Vengeful Spirit. It was quite ruthless, and a great way to control the lanes. That was when they were trying to zone out. Like, they ran like a VS, a Visage, and a Drow Ranger combo, I think it was. And the Drow and the Visage just couldn't find any space. They couldn't find any levels.
I think that the follow-up pick by Na'Vi here with the Chen is a pretty decent response towards the Night Stalker, just because Night Stalker, the way he used to be rather inefficient, is that Night Stalker is not a great hero in a 5-on-5. It's hard to just walk into a fight and kind of like give, you don't really deal a lot of damage. You have your Void, you have a Silence, but do you have any AoE damage? Not really. You can control the fight, yes. You give a lot of vision information, but Chen plus Beastmaster usually gives you a pretty decent opening for 5-on-5. Raw, BKB disable, Chen early push, and Night Stalker is not good at answering in a 5-on-5 scenario.
What if Na'Vi just say, okay, we got destroyed in game number 1 up against Cloud9. Is it worth going for a bit more of an aggressive pushing kind of strat? Like, you had Cloud9 knocking on your door 15 minutes into the last game, so I don't know if you're feeling very confident coming into game number 2 where you try someone that's a little bit more aggressive in the push. Like, the Luna was banned out with the Luna Beastmaster Chen, like, auras galore as you can see, but I guess there's something else that Na'Vi can play around with. I'm wondering too if even Pugner is viable in this current patch.
Yeah, Pugner is definitely not a bad hero. I mean, he got a slight buff, but overall I think he's just like one of those heroes you know, like you take a risk in. He's not a great late gamer in particular, and you would mostly only see him on a safe lane carry-ish role, where he is not really a carry, right? Like mid role, I don't think he's strong enough. So putting on safe lane usually gives you a ticker. Like you can win in the mid game, but if you don't, you most likely lose with that hero.
Yeah.
So it's like
because Netherwart's going to become pretty much useless going into the later portion of the game. The blasts are only good if you're in range of buildings.
Interesting to see what Navi's going to do here with their pick.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried. Like, and I've got your words ringing in my head of like, if Voss shouldn't have played Leshrac. But I'm wondering if that's in the mind here of Na'Vi, if they looked at... Wait. What the hell? Oh. Alistar disconnected and they paused halfway during the draft. That's why I'm like, that counter's not moving, is it? Yeah. So I didn't actually know you could pause during the draft.
That's very polite to do. I mean, I guess the other answer would be, what do you do? Remake the draft? But... well, that's how they forwarded this. I was like wondering, what is happening to the timer? Am I looking at the wrong timer here?
5 seconds remaining.
But the follow-up banned Brute. I guess maybe they were afraid Brute got a buff.
Cloud9
He now can use orb effects, which is quite interesting. I suppose he gets more of a, I guess, 5-on-5 aspect with having orbs.
I think they're more concerned about the fact that Cloud9 running a split push lineup is something that they don't feel strong enough to deal with at the moment.
Yeah, with one support, like Chen is one of those, he is going to sit in jungle, and generally it's hard to deal with a Brute. And especially if you don't want to contest and you have a one-on-one, Leshrac.
Navi's turn to pick.
I don't want to say block. I don't want to say a block pick, because I think Cloud9 is still very strong with this, but I'm looking at this lineup right now where if this is a Beastmaster off lane for Na'Vi, go with me on this train of thought and tell me if I'm right or wrong. But you could leave the Night Stalker in the hands of Bone 7 on that top lane and run Gyro Envy, Leshrac, pick up something like a Shadow Demon, and just get up in the face of Na'Vi on the safe lane, knowing they're running a jungle hero, control their jungle, push the lanes, and then have someone in the middle lane. Like you could even go for someone that isn't the Gyro, because Fader plays that Gyrocopter very well as well. But just get aggressive up against a defensive Chen.
I think you don't want to. I don't think you want to contest into a Chen. Like, I don't think Chen is the issue. It's just like you give Beastmaster a good lane. Beastmaster against Night Stalker, Beastmaster should win that matchup. Just because you're on a side lane, Night Stalker can't really bottle Crow, so you would not want to put Night Stalker on a safe lane in that sense.
Okay.
Just because the board is very difficult. You know, like with a unit, you get slowed up, attack speed slow, as well as movement slow. You most likely lose that matchup with a Night Stalker. Other than that, the way I see Cloud9 wanting to function here is Leshrac is most likely support here. I don't think Envy is playing that hero, and we've seen Envy a lot on Gyrocopter, a lot lately. So what I can see is that they rather want to look for push potential, and Leshrac with Edict can give you something in a very early game. Having like 1 or 2 levels in Edict, you can push at a decent rate, right? Where he's already good to zone with. On the other hand, I'm not entirely sure how confident Fata is with Leshrac, because I think Leshrac turns, especially with Octane Core, into a more carry-ish / mid role. I think he can work in that role, but at the same time, I know Misery likes the hero, so I would not be surprised just having that as a support role. Plus, Shake a Leshrac, Shake a Fisher into Leshrac stun is a pretty good setup. But yeah, it will definitely give you a decent push amount, and they would want to have that.
Yeah. And now he's going to find a way to deal with it. They get a Nyx Assassin. So we're
Cloud9's
actually
turn
starting to stack up
ban.
pretty heavily on these heroes because like both of these heroes you'd normally class as Funnic heroes. I'm talking Beastmaster as well as the Nyx Assassin. So this means that either Beastmaster or Nyx Assassin will be played by Dendi. So you're gonna run
10 seconds
a mid
remaining.
Nyx or a mid Beastmaster.
I would assume it's more
5
likely,
seconds
it's a
remaining.
Beastmaster middle over a Nyx middle. The thing is, what I believe Navi assumes here
Reserve
is it's going to be a Night Stalker middle. Fat is going to play Night Stalker, and then you have Mizir on Lashrock, No Tail on Shaker as the combo that most likely roams around a bit, and then Envy on the Gyro short. They could obviously potentially still contest, who knows, but I think that would be more likely. The other thing I have not thought about yet, the reason they pick less Shaker is very good against Shen. They pick very counter-ish heroes. Night Stalker against Beastmaster, Lashrock, Shaker, pretty good deep push against the Chen. What you want to do with Chen is push at an early pace to get a momentum, and in the later portion of the game, you split push potentially. But you take away that early momentum. You have a Fisher as well as Lashrock nukes to just push, to deep push, and it's very hard to just sustain that pushing momentum for Navi here.
Yeah, and that's a real problem for them, especially when you then pick up a hero like a Nyx Assassin. You need those tier 1 towers to go down so he's a little bit more free to move around the map. And the Cloud9 can't bring in very quick support. C9 is going to be banning out that Live Stealer, the last hero, which could potentially work as a Nyx bomb. The Nyx, as well as the
10
Nyx.
seconds remaining.
I mean, 3 names.
Lifestealer, one of those heroes that got a slight buff. I overall think he didn't get that much stronger, but it's one of those Havos heroes, right?
Yeah.
And they know it's the last pick. It's going to be a hero for Havos, so that's one of them, and I guess they're not that confident playing against the hero, as he's pretty good against Lashrock and Shaker in the early game, as well as Gyrocopter. But he can give that early momentum. So we'll have to see what they will pick up here for Havos. There's still a Brisbane in the pool, but I'm not entirely sure if that's the category, especially running a Beastmaster melee, Nyx melee. You run a triple core melee,
and you got to run through something like Call Down, and the Earthshaker as well with the Fissure block.
It would not be optimal. At the same time, I think Havos is rather a player that plays well around melee heroes. He likes to be tanky-ish and run into the fight, rather than doing the opposite, where he has to watch out a lot for his position, and then let other heroes shine.
Cloud9's going to finish it up with the Brewmaster. So
turn to pick.
We're going to get all of our lanes. And are we assuming Bro and 7? Because again, I'm looking at 3 heroes which Fader can play.
And it's the thing what Cloud9 did again. Very good counter is going to be most likely a Night Stalker off lane now. I think it's a Brew middle because they know it has to be either BM or a Nyx middle. In both matchups, Brewmaster wins. He can win both matchups. Melee against melee, Brew almost wins.
What makes Brewmaster better up against the Beastmaster than the Night Stalker? With I'm talking about like the ball factor again.
Oh, I mean, you would just walk in. You have a crit. You have a crit for Brew. You have your nuke. Your
Thunderclap.
Yeah, your Thunderclap. You have your Thunderclap to get in range. Obviously, like if you micro really well, you can micro your boar out of the area. But on the early levels, up to level 3, 4, 5, Brew just claps and walks for the rune. Like he doesn't really have difficulties against pretty much any melee. I guess the only melee I can come up with where he would have difficulties would be an axe. And obviously Navi can't run that hero. And this is a Weaver for a Vost.
They can try and keep him alive. These homing missiles are still going to follow him from the Gyrocopter, Latract, Night Stalker, Earthshaker, Brewmaster. They've all got a lot of different control abilities they can use against this Weaver.
And again, looking at these lineups, the lineup of C9 not only has the better 5-on-5, most likely the better lanes. At least Brew should win middle, top should go their way. And then bottom lane is it's an offlaner, so you hopefully get something. You have a Shaker that can block the lane, so Night Stalker will get levels.
Yep.
And just given these lanes, they're already in their favor. Then you have on Navi's side, you have a jungle Chen who pretty much has to make something happen. A Weaver that's gonna farm. That's your one core, but you run a single core against Brew, pretty decent late game. Night Stalker not that great, but okay. Like, he gives you the vision factor, and then you have a lot of lockdown in Shaker and Leshrac, as well as silence on Night Stalker, where Weaver has to watch out a lot. And you run these heroes, you run kind of like a dual core with Brew slash Gyro against a single core Weaver, where I feel like Na'Vi has to win again the early game, has to get well into the mid game to determine whether or not they can stay in this game. And I feel like it's the easier lineup for C9 here again.
It really does feel that way. And again, I'm feeling like we're looking at TI2 again. It's such an old school lineup that that Artstyle is drafting,
Radiant
where
structures are
Cloud9
fortified.
they're making a lot of this. And I don't know if that was really intentional as well to fortify the buildings. But either way,
30 seconds
maybe trying to lull Cloud9 to a false sense of security.
I mean, it damaged the towers in these 6 minutes
It's nothing.
it's not gonna be that big of a problem.
It really is nothing. More of a joke run. Well, Havost, Bone 7. Careful with his visual line. He's moving himself over to a nice little angle. Potentially he could block out one of the heroes. Especially Seneca's gonna be careful he doesn't get trapped here. Are they actually battling for top lane? It's Funnick on Envy. And Nyx Assassin will be able to take out the room, but is it really gonna be worth it? Funnick feeds a solo kill first blood over to Eternal Envy. And he gets 120 experience for that one. And he also was able to pick off the Hawk.
The Hawk gives is experience like a creep. Is even a bit more than a creep. That was very questionable.
He's 3 experience points away from level 2 on the gyrocopter now by killing the Hawk as well as
You can actually see Funnick doing this a lot. He would go for that bounty zone. He got the bounty zone, but at the same time, I don't know, get first blood for that, and it might even cost more.
Oh, you got the double stun. You're able to get it around the corner, but there's that second rocket barrage. Split Earth is leveled up here by Misery. Thinking about throwing into the tree line, but thinks again that you've got 2 tangos left on Funnick. This isn't enough life to try and stand on this top lane. And if you look down towards the bottom lane, like I was having a quick peek at mid, but Fade is having a great time. He's already got his bottle over Dendi. And what, they're going again?
It was a nice stun by Misery. He tried to go for the kill, but it was not enough damage. Nixus has too much reach in level 1.
This is going to be a really nice snipe here. Artstyle's going to take the bottle out between the towers, and this is actually quite huge, because this means now that Fader doesn't have this never-ending regeneration that comes his way, while Dendi's bottle is now finally on its way out.
I actually think Dendi is one of the players that plays really, really good on these maps with me. I think he always has a good game on the hero, and it's rare that it's funny to me that you see him really rarely bottom lane.
Yeah, Bone 7's in a hell of a lot of trouble. With the malediction on him, it's a guaranteed kill coming the way of Na'Vi. Moving into the trees, and they take it out. At the same time, Night Stalker denies himself up to the Ancients. He just wanted a quick path back to the base without having to walk the whole way.
Oh, and correcting myself, it's obviously a Shaker on the off lane, and not a Night Stalker.
Bone 7's core. Remember, he was one of those ones that just before TI4, because Cloud9 was boot camping here just before TI4. And I remember him just telling Envious, like, man, I can do off-lane Earthshaker, just believe in me. And like, this was obviously the patch that was 24 months ago, and he still believed that off-lane Earthshaker was completely viable. They may lose him again now. Paralyzing cast, that range creep doesn't bounce back down to him. As now No-Tail, well, he's trying to keep the Centaur away from Bone 7, but all he can do is fissure. The malediction will pop him again into the tree line, and, well, he knows he's dead. So Witch Doctor will take that kill, and we go 3-1 now on the board, even though technically it's 2-1 Volvo Police Fix. It's still only 2-1. Denials count for kills.
Fatah's gonna have a, like you mentioned, he's gonna have a rough time. He doesn't have any regen, he can't send any regen, so what he's trying to do right now is just get experience. But obviously it hurts a lot. It's a matchup that he should win or do really well on, and he can't last it. He just, it's very hard for him to last it. Then he's doing a great job with the boards to keep him out of experience, as well as harassing him.
Let's keep him low, keep him out. Keep the momentum coming, but what does Denny really move into? Like, okay, Denny's finding some good farm in the mid. Are we expecting him to have Blink Dagger and then just be this roaming, roaring initiator for them? Or should it be the Meg into Necros and become more of the pusher for Na'Vi to combine up with the Chen? Or is there a plan 3, plan C?
For Beastmasters?
For Beastmaster in the mid.
Most likely, I think the item build on this hero that kind of got his edge is probably Blink. I think that's what he's gonna aim towards. Is that Rocket gonna...
No.
It's just a level 1.
Yeah, it's only level 1. It just holds Nyx Assassin there, but he's kind of lucky that Misery backed up to do the pull. Because if that didn't happen, he would have just come down and split Earth him. But it was visible. The Observer, what I believe was, it saw the pull happening from Misery. Same time while I'm looking at this, looks like Night Stalker's going to die inside the Roche Pit. Arstyle's able to find himself a kill.
And this is very important for the early momentum of Chen here. He's gonna have his mana boots in a moment. I believe. I don't think he's gonna rush mech. I think mana boots is the way to go. I prefer the just for the mana sustain. Just have trouble with sustaining your mana boot. You don't go for that over a mech. Mid lane.
Yeah, they're coming for Dendy. No-Tail TP'd in. They refreshed the bottle of Fader as well. Dendy in actually a little bit of trouble because that roar was up and the boar is slowing him down. Dendy's got Axe mana now, but No-Tail, well, he's turning around for it. Leaves a 1 void into the clap and Dendy's going to drop. I don't know if he lost the mana or if he didn't think level 1 Axes was enough to kill off No-Tail.
I was a bit too greedy there. He needed more than just level 1 Axes. Just because Nightstalker has such a big armor pool, level 1, already at level 1, and he's level 4 at this point. For 6 armor, you're not gonna just go through with the axes. I think it's half physical, half medical, if I'm correct. Not entirely sure, but he would have lived through just the axes.
Bottom lane, a lot of pressure being applied by the undead army of Artstyle. But the push really counts for nothing after the fortification happens and the lightning from Misery drags the creep wave back again. I just want to flag one thing. Look at the CS. Look at Eternal Envy CS. This guy's got 50 CS against a Vorse 27. Now into the Rocket Barrage, the Nako. Funnic's going to tank it up for the team. The Malediction is there, but Envy, he's still going to find this kill over on Funnic. Turns over to Snako for the secondary Rocket Barrage, and he stays alive. He has the Helm of Iron Will, switching up the treads. Gets a solo double kill against Na'Vi on top of having 50 CS in 6 minutes.
Funnic again, questionable play. They could have...
Dendy's dead as well. Fader just running in. The Fissure, the Roar's going to be there, but Fader, he's got split available, so he wants to go for the clap, and then instantly a split can't do it. Hardstyle's going to nuke him down. That was a haste rune Brewmaster that ran in. Now the Earthshaker gets picked up too. Na'Vi brought their entire team into the mid lane to fight this.
A bit... I believe the play of Vater there was a bit too cocky. I think he had the moment to just split right away.
Yeah.
He could have clapped, split, and most likely he would have had the kill, but he wanted to wait a bit. Great play there by Snako.
Duke it around the tree line. We are during nighttime still. It's 2 AM in the morning. Been able to manipulate the tree line, and also the Alpha Force that were there. Fader doesn't want to clap. He knows instantly he does it. Nyx Assassin is just gonna end up stunning him through that Spy Carapace, and Fader split time, can't get it off again. Again, Arnstyle focuses him down with that nuke, and No-Tail try to come in to help out, but they're losing too many players. They're diving under it, but the Fissure block of Vorse, they could see him as he was going underneath the tower. Hence the line was right from Bone 7, but Misery still here to try and fight it out, but once he really got, he wants to back up, but the paralyzing cast bounces up to Bone 7, and Dendy going in very, very deep. There's no... Okay, now the ball reaches him to slow him down. But while all this is happening, what do we got? We've still got Envy taking a tier 1 tower in the top lane. Now they continue to fight in the mid. And I'm wondering if Cloud9, like, yeah, these trade-offs not going their way, but is Cloud9 even sad about this when Envy's getting as much farm as he is?
I mean, Envy's getting a lot of farm, definitely, but I feel like... In a way, I feel like he should be more ready to help. I mean, I guess he said that he's gonna split push, and you back off, you don't take the risk. In the end, they were in between the tier 2 and tier 3 tower. At this point, where a Gyro this fat, if he had just a bit more mana and did not spam there, and potentially TP in, just one Rocket Bash, or just an ultimate, they could have potentially just turned this entire fight around. But I guess a communication issue, or like, maybe not expecting Na'Vi to dive this far, this early into the game.
It might also just be the way C9 plays, because this isn't the first time we've seen a movement like this. Like sometimes Cloud9 just say, you know what, you four, you just deal with it as best you possibly can. We still stick to the game plan, which is a certain timing of a certain item on a certain player, aka Envy. I'm also watching this bottom lane with an invis rune from Misery. Bone7 can started off with a Fissure onto a Vorst. I don't know if they got enough damage to kill him right away. There is that level 3 now for the Earthshaker, and he put the second point up into the Aftershock for it. But the invis rune's about to wear off, so Fissure 1. Split Earth as well, but too late for Misery.
I actually think the correct play would be Misery starting the stun over the Fissure. Because he's not gonna get visible until he gets that stun off. And if you go for the stun of Leshrac first, you have a safe fallout, and then potentially you get the kill. But I think 700 HP was still too much for even the triple combo of spells that they have.
Envy's being such a nuisance on top. And as much pressure into the tower and keep as many eyes of Na'Vi on that top lane as possible. Well, Fader as well as Notal, they're still waiting for this opening in mid. But it's daytime, so Night Stalker really doesn't have that high level of control that you want from him yet.
As you can see on the Brewmaster, though, he really had a rough game. Usually Fata, at this point, he would have his dagger around 10 minutes. He should have his dagger for sure. Given that he doesn't go for mana boots or anything in between, he just goes boots bottle into mana boots. But they're stacking right now, and I believe they would be stacking for either Gyrocopter or the Brewmaster. I would assume it's for Brewmaster, just that he can pick up his dagger. He's still a bit far from it though. So it looks like they're farming this stack together, and they will give all the farm to the Brew, so he gets very close to that blink. Because they really need the blink just for the entire 5-on-5 purpose. They can group up and potentially push together if they really wanted to. Do they have to? They don't. At this point they really don't. They can still wait that out and maybe get one more item, 2 more items on the Gyrocopter. As you can see, Gyrocopter is being 2k gold ahead of the Weaver. He's very far.
Yeah, he's got so much money on him. And with the Alpha Wolf, which he's now, I believe, accidentally left behind. Yep, now it comes. You've got enough lifesteal and enough damage that if you want to, you could potentially slip yourself into Roshan. And I'm looking at this smoke being picked up on Misery, wondering if that's what's going to happen. They obviously have to check for Hawks, though. It's almost impossible just to walk yourself inside of Roshan into the cover of smoke. You know there's going to be some level of vision from the Beastmaster.
I wonder why he didn't stack again. I guess he pinged out. They couldn't see anyone on the map, and they saw Hawk move in. That's why he didn't stack. He was just afraid that he's gonna get ganked on that ancient spot. Right now it's a double stack. They're gonna for sure stack it a few more times before Gyrocopter is gonna move over and take that stack. But right now, what C9 is doing is correct. They just sit back and try to farm.
Just wait it out until you hit the next nighttime phase, or you get your next big items you're searching for. There's no pressure on the back of C9 for the moment. Yeah, Weaver could become a problem, but I'm also looking at a Vorst. Like, when you're 2,000 net worth behind, you think that problem is fairly well manageable. And Brewmaster now has enough money for his Blink Dagger in, like, 3 seconds.
And we most likely will. He just finished the Blink Dagger. They have a smoke. Leshrac, as you can see, is moving towards him, so they probably will smoke up right now. And as you can see, it just happened. They're moving towards bottom lane and probably defend that push. Right now, Na'Vi does not know that he has a Blink Dagger, so it could be a big surprise for them.
C9's going to have to use their fortification or take even more damage. If this tower drops lower, then Na'Vi will probably stick around and commit, but who are you really searching for here? Do you try and go on a Vorst? There's not really enough control there for that.
I think the target you want to aim is either Beastmaster before he gets a decent rock, because you want to take your momentum.
Is the jump, blink, clap, split. Dandy and Arsa's going to get controlled. Keep your eyes peeled for Bone7. He's got that Echo Slam off cooldown. In fact, sorry, leveled up now as he hit the level 6. They're waiting for this creep fight to start, but nice stun from Funnick in combination with Snako with the ultimate, but it's just not enough. It's 3 heroes down so far, about to become the 4th as there goes Funnick too. And of course, scuttles himself away. Never had time to use time lapse. Had 17 one charges to boot. A very clean fight for C9.
Yeah, before I managed to finish my thought, is exactly what I was trying to say, is that Beastmaster is the target to go for if he does not get the jump. Beastmaster starts the fight and you have something going for you. But if Beastmaster gets jumped by Panda, it's really hard for him to go for anyone. Because obviously you can kind of wait outside the area, you know the Raw is gonna come, but on what target, and in this case it did not manage even to get off on anyone because he got silenced up, and even if a Raw comes after the Panda split, it's not going to be a great Raw, because fighting into a split, when Panda used everything, he used the clap, he stopped the damage of pretty much the Weaver, who was clapped up, there's no follow-up, and it results into complete chaos for Na'Vi.
With that, how far do they move behind? They lose, not behind, but they do lose their advantage of the 3,000 net worth. They do move behind in the experience, however. It was almost 2k their way, now 1,500 the way of C9.
And Envy probably going, I believe it's going to be a BKB over... Actually, it probably is, I think it's actually a Sanction that he's going for. I don't think it's going to be a BKB. Looking at the farm, like looking at the gold right now, he has 900 gold. It could be the BKB, but given the fact that there's Beastmaster Raw, I'm not entirely sure if he has to go for this BKB right now.
It's not going to protect you from much. Fader jumps in, instantly roared, but then again, he might drop down, but Envy turns on the flag cannon. Huge amounts of damage being done. A double kill for them. They trigger off the dust, which means reveal over on Nick's assassin. They see the flag cannon shot go towards the west as well, towards the jungle, and that's why Void, Silence, and Envy with the rocket barrage. It's a triple kill for the Gyrocopter Envy. And there's one last player left alive again. It's Deja Vu of Austin, the tree line. He's got Chikuchi off cooldown, but they've dropped the sentry ward right in front of the tower, and they know it too. So he goes invis, runs back up again. They still know he's in the corner. So the follow-up stump, nowhere to go, and this will be a complete wipe. The Brewmaster may have died at the very, very start of it, but that was one hell of a bait from him.
Nothing to add to that. It's, again, it's lineup that he early on, and if it doesn't work out, where Gyro at this point is almost unstoppable. He's so far ahead of everyone else, and he's going for that Sanchin Yasha, so...
He's, not only is he going for that, he's got another 2,000 gold now on this Gyro.
I wonder what he's aiming to get. He could actually go for an item in such like a Scotty, where he even gets more stats, you know, where you don't risk to die. But he could also just obviously go for just like a Butterfly. I guess Butterfly would be a good item just because there's no MKBs, not even near anywhere.
We will never be able to afford one then.
Not at all. I mean, Butterfly probably would be a good item. I'm not sure if he...
Even if he just gets like the Talisman of Evasion for now, that'll be enough.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, does he have to? You know, he's that rich where he could save up for the Eagle Horn at the same time. No.
Oh, Na'Vi.
The split is up, and I believe that...
Do they know?
They could potentially aim for another smoke.
Brewmaster Illusion's coming down,
and
they think it's the real one. I use the Roar on the Illusion and the Malediction. Roshan's still going to belong to Na'Vi, but with Roar down, there may be enough confidence here for Cloud9 to try and fight. The cooldown's going to go, but no one's really hit by it. The rest of Na'Vi bailed out. 3 up the river and 2 back to the jungle.
I feel like a slight misplay here by C9. They were waiting for that smoke on the courier, but they for sure should have tried to go early into that Roche position, because the only thing for Na'Vi right now to come back into this game was a Roche, for sure. They can't take a 5-on-5. By no means they have a chance winning that. And it was a great play by Na'Vi, for sure. They abused the fact that they saw that right now is the right momentum to go for that Roche kill, and we take it really fast. We have Medallion, and given that, maybe a better momentum here, going for Na'Vi and potentially having a chance to come back into this game.
Well, they really do need a chance, or something. Hope, glimmer, anything they can find. Because for now, my eyes keep coming back to Eternal Envy and just seeing how big this Gyrocopter is and wondering where does Na'Vi even find the damage to kill him without isolating him. And that's almost impossible. When you got a hero like a Brewmaster that can just split and cause mass amounts of chaos. Even the Latrak, the initial damage he does in the control, he went for a 4-0-4 build on the Latrak. So he's got a lot of control. Obviously the stun duration time is still going to be the same, but it's that initial point of damage and then the follow-up into the lightning. Even Notel got almost a level 10 Night Stalker running around. And he's got Ern's Treads, difficult hero to kill off. Now up to 8 armor on him. And then you got the Earthshaker, Mr. Blink Dagger Echo Slam from Bone 7. It's like they're running 2 cores and 2 semi-cores.
Trying to think of what each team should try to focus on right now. Navi is obviously going for top push right now. I think it's a very risky move to do, and we can see a smoke team coming up by C9. They're running into the stronger 5-on-5. They have an Aegis.
They revealed it. Dandy instant stun. The Fissure as well. They need this Brewmaster to die. With the hand of God, the paralyzing caskets are making it easy. So Bone7's going to die already. Fader, he does have the split available, but the team is just getting isolated here. Cloud9, no tail dies in the tree line. Well, Eternal Envy's cooldown has been blown, so is the flat cannon, and they want to dive in deeper. The blink away from Fader will at least take out this paralyzing cast, but it keeps pouncing down. It hit into Misery. Rocket Barrage standing. He's too close. The lightning is there. The missile's going to connect on him too, and the Brewmaster split. The chaos will be created. Cloud9 still lost 3 players for only Dandy. And then the Brewlings, they're getting rid of him very, very quickly. Snake will be sent back to base, and they're just being split up. Avorce up to the tower, searching for the kill on Misery. And, well, they'll send one last time the next assassin up into the air, but Avorce well behind the tower. Bone7 with a Fissure. Avorce, he's got no mana for a time lapse. They could just burn the Aegis Immortal, and in fact, they're going to do that. Bone7's going to follow up some. There's not enough mana. In fact, they start with Misery Stun. They get the BKB out from Avorce, and now in comes No-Tail, triggering the Dust. Don't exactly know what he wants to try and chase here. He can go for the Void, and then a follow-up Fissure from the Earthshaker. He's able to dodge the Impale at least, and Weaver, well, there's that silence. Earthshaker's still got that Blink Dagger on cooldown, but the Fissure comes off, and he's on the wrong side of it, jumps in for the Totem Stomp, actually catching out a Force in the middle of Shukuchi, and Latrak finishes the job. Misery. Cloud9, it really didn't look like they could chase the Force the entire way, but they track him down, and they kill him off.
So in recap of this fight, the way it started off is on this side of the tier 2 tower in the forest. They decided to go into a scenario of 2 against 3, 4. They knew they were pushing top, that's C9, right? They went in with the initiation of Bone. He got the Echo Storm off. He knew that he had to initiate with Echo Storm because Beastmaster was ready to raw him. He went in, and then they saw there was just no backup for him because Gyrocopter was on the other side. He just TP'd in. He had no chance to follow up. So the way the fight started was really bad for C9. Just because the initiation did not follow up with damage, so there was no chance to insta-kill someone on the shaky initiation. Other than that, the way the fight progressed is what happened is that Funnick did not manage to get a double stun. I was like looking at him the entire time. He Vendetta in, he was waiting until he gets a double stun. He had 2 people line up, Gyrocopter as well as the Brewmaster. He could have had a double stun on these 2 targets, but he waited too long, and then Brewmaster got the split off and the fight entirely changed. Very unfortunate there for Na'Vi.
I'll see if they can be fortunate this time around. Cloud9 running in behind. They know exactly where Arstal is, and they ping it out. They come in from behind and then trigger off the Dust, looking for anyone they can. But they've already killed off the Chen very quickly into Dandy. He might summon the Necro units, which Bone7, unfortunately for himself, ends up killing off. But they take 2 very quick kills, and this will mean tier 1, tier 2 tower. Because who else is really going to try? Like, Avorce can attempt to defend this with, what, 1 level up in bugs?
Great smoking there though by C9. Well executed smoke into tower push into kill, and now they most likely will get another tower push, and what have they used? They just used the
middle tower is under attack.
Which means they can just keep pushing.
And Envy is close to a butterfly here. I think he just dropped the cloud step.
They found Bone7 with the stuns. He can't get the stick charges off in time. The cooldown does split the fight up. There's No-Tail and Faye to try and focus over on Seneko, but they're going in too deep into the base of this one. Misery caught inside the trees. The tower is still brought down by the dire side. Misery, while he's on evading that attack from Avorce, all that stun from Funnick. So 2 players lost for Cloud9. The other players from Cloud9 are able to TP out or just run away.
Flesh sustains, gold remains.
You could say maybe a overstay for Na'Vi here, for C9 here, but at the same time, they haven't lost really that much. There's a Shaker, of course, that's a core role, but he pretty much has his items in top lane. He's still trying to chase with Weaver.
He's got no stuns though, so there's no way he can cancel that TP of No-Tail.
Yeah, no chase, no chance to finish up No-Tail there, and well, it shows that there's a lack of stuns as well, potentially in this lineup. Like, you've seen so many TP outs in this game, just by C9. At the same time, I don't know, I just think looking at the lineup of Na'Vi here is always at a bad foot. Like, what happens if Na'Vi smokes up? Can they really accomplish that much out of a smoke? Not really. The way C9's lineup works is they can smoke, Brewmaster split, and go into a tower push. I guess all of this results into the great game of Envy here. They have just so much pressure with Envy's gyrocopter, whereas he pretty much is like the entire 5-on-5 damage. And on top of that, not just you have the gyrocopter that deals so much damage, but any given hero on the C9 roster here is in itself a great 5-on-5 hero, where Na'Vi has almost nothing. Like, it's all single target. Nyx assassin single target, Leeson has a single target. Chen is the 5-on-5 force, sure, but he can only heal. He can't really lock down anything.
Yeah.
And that's very problematic here for Na'Vi.
Well, if C9 can still focus down one target, maybe that's all they really need. There's so much money being put on the back of the gyro. He did finish the full butterfly now. And it's already up to another 1,500 gold on this gyro.
And the standard one.
Yeah. And they smoke right on top of the Radiant Observer Ward, however, so it was scouted out. As well as flagging before as well for the viewers at home, is the fact that that sentry ward they planted was only a fraction of an inch away from seeing the Observer Ward. So C9 feel like they're not going to find anything, but then again, okay, I take it back. They found Funnick. Funnick thought he was fine inside the Vendetta, wanted to break the smoke and get the hell out of there. While there's no gem over on Cloud9, they walked directly into the sentry ward, which allowed C9 to fight last time they were in mid.
I mean, can you argue that he, you know, like, that sentry spot is kind of unlikely. At the same time, you just fought there, so having a sentry there is more than likely.
Yep.
And this results into
top tower has
a tier 2 push, most likely even a continuous push into the tier 3 tower, or they just wait and go for the Roshan, who's about to spawn. They ping towards the bottom lane. I guess they said they're gonna head back and try to take that farm. At the same time, I believe they're gonna set up for Roshan. Just spawn, they're heading towards bottom lane. They have all lanes pushed out. The only lane left to be pushed is bottom lane to take that tier 2 tower. But I would only assume for them to check out Roche very soon and then go for the bottom push. As you can see, some interesting drawing here by Spoon7, who kind of like points out the Roche factor as well as heading towards bottom lane.
Oh, if he could read all futures, then he'd also look towards Na'Vi smoked up. And with the Observer they've got inside the dire jungle, Fader, he's not expecting this, and do they attack him in time? Yeah, they do. Roar up, and they commit everything they've got to kill off Fader. Necro unit's being triggered, they let the Death Ward go as well. They wanted a very quick and efficient kill, then straight back out again. While Funnick, he can set up Notal, ends up cancelling the TP, and that's the bigger thing. It's going to isolate him inside the dire jungle, and there's no real way for him to outrun them. He's trying to juke it in the tree lines, but now a Vorst also arrives, and Notal will tick down very quickly. So, Na'Vi, the best opening they've got so far. They don't have the creep wave with them on the top lane. That's going to be the problem, as they cannot quickly take out the tier 2.
I was gonna say, like, what do they get out of it? They don't have a creeper. So right now the creeper is still quite far away. They have no way. At the same time, C9 is forming. They sure got 2 pickups. They're not bad, but do they use this with a lane momentum? Do they get a power push out of this? They're not.
They get a Roshan out of this, is what they get.
I mean, right now the creepers just arrived, so they're getting a tier 2 tower, most likely top lane.
They actually fortified the tower, so the tower went almost back up to 100%. So all the work that Na'Vi did before that counts for absolutely nothing. But the tower will drop now, and Funnick is wondering if they're here. Now, last time there was a sentry wall planted right in this spot, so Funnick will walk in, realize they're doing Roshan, and realize he's also not being attacked. So it's possible that he could try and snipe out Roshan at the moment. More support's coming over the hills, and now the sentry wall's going to drop. In the rocket barrage with the lightning, Funnick will end up dropping, and the support comes in from Bone7. The Fissure drop into the Echo Sound. They want to force held there, and they're able to do so. Fader right behind Taneko. There's a homing missile coming for him as well, and Dendi, the clap will control him, and they can turn 1 into 4 right now, with Dendi about to pop. One last axe. The paralyzing casket doing enough of control. That's 4 heroes down, and Roshan was a thought left in the back of their mind. 400 HP is what he was left on when they left, and now Envy will come in, finish the job. He'll get Nagus the Immortal, and actually a full Satanic too from this.
And Funnick dropped his TP. C9 pinged the TP out. They had a ward there. They saw that an invisible ward was there. He walked in, and then they actually set down. Flasher cast sentry was on him. He did not place them. I actually think that's a misplay in a way. Just to be sure, you want to set your sentry just in case. You know Nyx is alive, so you know he can potentially walk there, right?
Yep.
They were just pushing top, so in that sense, maybe that's the reason he wasn't setting it, because he felt like it's not needed. But when he saw the TP drop, obviously he knew Nyx was around. And then he dropped it, and it resulted into the kill of pretty much everyone there.
Well, Bone7's going a little bit hardcore into art style. There's still the cooldown available from the Gyrocopter as Fader jumps in for his own clap. Still no cooldown coming up. In fact, that Death Ward hitting pretty heavily into Fader, but then the split comes out, so all that malediction damage counts for nothing. Sneeko gets controlled. Havor's at least able to time-lapse out the damage and killing off Misery at the same time he does that. But the call down from Envy, still no flat cannon available, but remember, he's got the Aegis model, so he's quite happy doing what he's doing. They let the Roar go off, the Brewmaster, now back to his normal self, and the paralyzing cast timing is perfect. Bouncing back and forward, Fader buys the remainder of the Assault Cuirass before he ends up dying, actually just short of the Hyperstone for it. But either way, in comes Envy, turns on the flat cannon, the Rocket Barrage, and he forced back, Bone7 jumps in. There's not enough mana for another fissure. In fact, sorry, he already threw it out beforehand, and the Force Staff can't get him far enough away either. So he'll end up dying in Cloud9. They are diving behind tier 4 towers without taking the Raptors and giving a Weaver a triple kill and chance to get a Monkey King bar up against the Gyrocopter. Question mark, I ask you, Hani.
They just felt too confident there. They knew they had Aegis, as well as they, like, if you look at Gyro's items at this point, he has a Satanic as well as a Butterfly, as well as a Sentient Yasha. On top of that, he had the Aegis. They felt like, alright, there's nothing that stops me, right? But little did he know, the casket bounced perfect between him and Brewmaster. Not even before the Brew could split, the casket bounced, and I was like, alright, is Brew actually getting his ulti off? It was very close that he would die there. He got his ulti off in the end, but then, yes, they did not go for objectives. They could have stayed back, they just split at the tower, they cyclone up the Weaver, they just go for the Rex. And that's just overconfidence. Obviously, at this point, they haven't lost too much. Gyro did not die in the process, but at the same time, they kind of threw the momentum. With giving Weaver that kill, they give them a chance to come back. But if you look at the net worth of Gyrocopter and Weaver, it is still insanely far away from each other.
Yeah. It's just the ability that when you attack as a Weaver, you're capable of hitting the Gyrocopter, where right now he's not capable of doing that. He needs another 200, 300 gold until he's got that item that allows him to do such a thing.
Yeah, definitely. And then again, Cena has to be afraid, because if Beastmaster gets that Raw onto Gyro, and Miracle he gets to hit him down in that time, or, you know, the rest is locked down, which is still going to be very tough. Like, Shaker still has disables, Slasher still has disables, Night Circle has still silence and whatnot. So killing a Gyro in that time, where Gyro has a Satanic as well, is going to be very tough. And probably one item that Envy is going to work towards now is going to be a BKB. Once he gets the BKB, there's no chance of killing him. It's insanely difficult that he will not manage to pop the BKB plus Satanic in time. It looks like you have the Aegis now on. I mean, the Aghanim's now on Night Stalker, so during that time, hardly anything can happen. He's level 14, so right now he's not having the 16 where Hawk is gonna almost be completely inefficient. Hawk of Beastmaster has very little power here, and he's in the core role, so it's a very important tool of this hero. Beastmaster is picked for the Hawk, less than for the BKB disable. It's of course it's great, but the main reason you pick a Beastmaster this early in the draft is because he provides you a lot of pushing momentum in the early game with a great BKB disable, but it's the Hawk that gives you that teamfight momentum. And of course now during daytime you can see how much it provides in vision, but Night Circle is just a great counter to this hero. As soon as teamfights start, he's going to turn on Night, and the Hawk will provide you very little teamfight momentum.
Yeah, well, Night Stalker sees all. And speaking of teamfight, the Brewmaster, they were mentioning during that last fight that he was just short of the money. I say just short, he's still short of a Hyperstone for his Assault Cuirass. He's now managed to farm that one up. Bone7's building into a Shadow Blade. He bought the Claymore just before his death as well. So you're going to have this Invis Night Stalker you're worrying about. Even then you're kind of already worried because that Glimmer Cape is over on the track. While Envy is rapidly approaching his next item too. So having the Demon Edge in his inventory at the moment. Bone7, quick blink away from the Scarab Beetles of Vorst. I don't really see a Vorst doing anything up on this lane though. Like, he knows that the Bone7 as well as Envy is there. There's no way he's going to fight into that. At the same time, escaping from the Night Stalker might be a little bit harder as well.
Yeah, he's running back to base. Nightsucker's just zoning. It seems like they're aiming for a top push as they're sort of grouping up on top lane. They have nighttime running, but I think it results still into a daytime after that, where it's not going to be night. So they're going to wait for a bit longer. Roshan is fairly soon up. It's not that much timer left. I think the safe move to do here would be just waiting for Roche and farming until that point. But it seems like they're grouping up top and they seem confident in pushing in.
Well, I'll give her a crack. But you're now taking out another tier 3 tower after you already took out the tier 3 tower on bottom lane. It's just the hard way to do things. In fact, Envy's backing up. There's more farm to be had. He's not ready to fight yet. He has not finished farming.
Very interesting move by C9 here, because one thing to mention is they show up as 5 on the top lane. They know they can't get ganked that way. But the other thing is that you force 5 people to be ready. They expected them to push in. They forced everyone back, so there's no momentum for Na'Vi to farm. They just don't want to give Na'Vi farm. Because if it goes to the Roche fight, they will win the Roche fight, will get the Aegis, and they can go high ground. Right now, they just want to prevent Na'Vi from farming. They will get farm on Gyro, that's all they need.
They complete the next item on Gyro. The Monkey King farm was the item of choice. He had a lot of other choices with that Demon Edge, but decided Monkey King bar is the best way to go.
I think it's a bit cocky to me, because sure he gets that insane damage. If he gets to hit, it's gonna be, you know, like, there's no chance for them to stand. If he gets to Flak Cannon, almost all heroes on Navi's side. Like, you have a Chen that sits barely on 1000 HP. He has a mech and he has Hand of God, but other than that, the heroes will all struggle. I think they're all sitting around 1000, 1500 HP. If you get the Flak Cannon, everyone is gonna get very low.
Yeah.
The downside to this is that he doesn't go for the PK, and if Casket bounces like it bounced in the last fight, sure it was a slight misplay by C9 because they just went too far.
Yeah.
But if it gets to bounce on Gyrocopter and his Satanic, you know, like gets activated and uses too early or whatnot, it gives a chance.
Wow, Fader. Commitment is heavy. Throws out the stone, and it's worth it. Killing off Funnick, also making sure that Na'Vi then lose their own gem. They've already got one of them themselves. They're not worried about that. It looks like No-Tail's going to drop the wand for it. Keep it safe. They've still got the Courier at the back lines. That's C9's Courier that can take the second gem.
Double gem. No chance to do anything around the base now. They have a book 3, of course. They can still take out wards.
But you don't want to be committing a book 3 just to do dewarding. That's meant to be for your fights.
It's not that bad, because the timer of book is actually not that long. And if your C lanes are pushed out, your book is going to be up by the time they're pushing. So it's not too bad to use. C9 still work on just farming. They're just split pushing, farming. They're grouped up. They got a kill, but they just wait until Roche is up. They just pinked out the area of Roche. They know Roche can be up very, very soon.
Yep. He could have actually spawned 30 seconds ago, but C9's going to have to wait a little bit longer than that. Just over a minute and a half now left on that clock before they can then take out Roshan. But they've got everything they need to take the Roche fight. Like, the Shadow Blade now is fully done for the Earthshaker. So Na'Vi keeping control of him is almost impossible. They don't have the gem. They've got sentry wards over on Seneko. But that's the only invis detection you've got up against both Glimmer as well as now Shadow Blade.
Definitely. I'm wondering if he really needed that Shadow Blade, because he gets so much. You know, Shadow Blade is one of those items you want to get just to make sure Shaker doesn't get seen, so he can stay out of range and then initiate with the right positioning. It's hard to get positioned against a Beast Master during the day, but of course you have nighttime, so, and the vision is reduced, right? So getting, you know, like a decent position at nighttime is quite easy with a Shaker. So I think, I'm not sure, like, you could potentially go for something like an EOS instead, like a mana item that gives you an extra disable. I mean, of course Shadow Blade is not bad, but there could be alternatives, I think. And right now, you have Jara sitting on another 3.5k gold, as well as a Panda sitting on 3k gold. So both of them just continuing farming. And the only hero that really farms on the lineup of Na'Vi is the Weaver, and he's still very far away from the Gyrocopter.
Poor Misery. Now he can get himself out of misery as Roshan has spawned up. So this is Cloud9's ticket to go high ground. The balls are still coming over to have a bit of a scout out, and Cloud9 don't care if it's no one that they're going for Roshan. There is nothing Na'Vi can do. They have to sit, they have to wait. They know eventually C9 will come into higher ground. If they come out to try and contest Roshan, they'll just lose the fight.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's... You fight into Night Stalker at night. If you want to go there, the chance of you winning the fight is insanely low. And obviously you're so far away, like so far ahead in net worth, C9. That is where Brewmaster now is on top of the Weaver as well. You can win these 5-on-5s. You're already behind in the 5-on-5, just roster wise. It's very hard mid to late game to just win the 5-on-5.
C9 once again, they're moving back up to this top lane to try and force the lanes.
I think they're expecting that one of the heroes farming in that top jungle. Just because no one is there, they know Roshan was taken. Usually the move by a team that is against Roshan, where you know the opponent team takes Roshan, you want to get into their jungle. Just because it's very far away and unlikely that the team would go there after. It's an interesting move by C9 there because they were guessing that someone would be there. They just smoked up to just go in the opposite direction. They now pushed our top lane. Top lane is going to push. They have to make sure all the other lanes are pushed. And what they're doing right now, bottom lane is still not that far in, where they just go straight down middle. They know they're strong in the 5-on-5. There should be no way that Na'Vi has a chance taking this 5-on-5 fight. And Gyro is sitting on top of an Aegis. I mean, with this reasoning, going back to my BKB decision, I agree now, having the Aegis, that he doesn't need the BKB, but at the same time, he can still be stopped from dealing damage, right? Obviously, BKB in comparison now is not as great, given the fact that he has an Aegis, but it just seems to me like the safer choice of dealing damage in the fight.
Cloud9, they push the wave in through the mid, so now they can come in through the bottom and finish up the racks. They started a long time ago, back when they were diving the tier 4 towers. And Weaver, well, he has TP'd himself back now, throws out the Scarabs, and Envy just standing on the front lines, taking as much as he can, turns on the flag cannon, a large amount of damage to a Vorst, spoils to Funnick. A Vorst, in fact, in a time lapse out that damage, but they got what they came for. They took the melee racks, now they can back up. They can do the same thing again in mid. They don't care about the range racks on bottom lane. If Na'Vi wants to try and come out and fight them, they'll be willing to do that. If not, just split the lane up.
I'm actually surprised that Boon7 did not go for kill there. Like, obviously now Na'Vi dropped that sentry ward, but it was not dropped out. It was high ground. He had all the vision he had, like he wanted to have. And it looks like no initiation is coming. Nope. BKB is popped though.
Yes, of course, but Envy is just ripping through him with the physical damage. No tell. A little bit of trouble for him, but in comes Bone7. The Echo Slam, he gets stunned up by the Spike Carapace, however, and that allows Vorst time just to get himself away to safety. At the same time, now Latrak turning on that Pulse Nova, not helping him out. This is paralyzing cast, causing huge amounts of problems for Cloud9 once again. But they do bring down the racks. Envy still alive, forcing Denny back into his base. The Malediction will come in as they find a Vorst outside the base with a fissure. And he'll just turn around to let off the Scarab Bugs. One of them gets on top of Envy as Funnick realize that damage is still there from the Gyrocopter. Snako knows it too. Paralyzing Cask won't be able to bounce here, but it's a double buyback of Vorst as well as Funnick coming back toward the living Snako. Envy needs one more attack, can't get it off, but he's still fighting up against an Aegis Immortal hero. Vader and Bone7 team up to bring down Dendi. Cloud9, they just stand their ground, and Envy beating through a Vorst. Time lapse out all of the damage, but now R-Star's on the run. Hemek's already been triggered. He's just over 4-star available. Envy does kill him off, and it seems to be this one-man army battling against the world as Bone7 and Vader trying to find Funnick, or Funnick trying to find them. Envy's got to get the hell out of here. I know he's just standing his ground, and I know he thinks he can kill off almost anybody on this field, but it's going to be a matter of time before he's going to die. They got the Malediction on him, the Paralyzing Cast. Now the Aegis Immortal is going to trigger. And support is coming back, but it's taking a while. In comes Funnick, misses the stun over on Envy. Into the Rocket Barrage, 4-star up, but Fader actually gets the attacks, and the Spike Carapace will end up triggering him. Vorst finally! Oh, there's actually the kill. They get the kill over on Eternal Envy. It all goes the way of the Weaver. Vorst loses his life to make it happen. And Funnick needs to be able to try and survive this. The Spike Carapace, he's trying to buy himself some time, but time is not of the essence for him. And that'll end a very long, drawn-out back-and-forward fight, which still only resulted in the bottom racks going down.
Obviously, very, very cocky there by Envy, but he knows himself, like, it doesn't really matter. One thing you notice there at the very end, Father was giving him the cheese. So if you you can see at the inventory of Envy, he carries the cheese, but he did not manage to activate it in the last second. On Envy, that is.
Yep.
Like he just got it very last second. If he would have spammed that hotkey, he could have probably activated the cheese, but he did not manage to do so. Would have been funny if he actually managed to get that cheese off and then survive on that.
I wonder if he actually had a hotkey assigned to that slot. I'm assuming you have one, but if it's just like one of those quick, easy reach ones you feel comfortable with, because he had it where the Aegis was, so it takes up that slot.
Yeah. At the same time, right now he only has one slot that he uses, so I don't know. I guess he didn't have the chance to use it. Either way, if you look at net worth, net worth is just like he's almost tripling the Weaver at this point. And the Brewmaster is also very far ahead.
His XP and gold per minute is almost over 750 for both.
And I don't think they're gonna wait out. He just purchased another item, I think. He's getting crit. He's getting crit on the gyrocopter. So he's not going for BKB, he doesn't care, he thinks he has enough HP. He doesn't, at this point he doesn't have to. He's so far ahead, it doesn't really matter if he gets it or not. I think it's a safe choice still to get it, but he doesn't, there's no point for it, I guess.
It's confidence level right now for Envy more than anything else. Why fear the Reaper when it took him, what was that, like 2-3 minutes worth of a fight? Just trying to kill off Raid Boss Envy?
Yeah, he's sitting on comfortable 2.60 HP. And
now they're going to give it a crack. And the Fissure start. Windy Echo Slam! The Death Ward might come off, but the Flag Cannon turns on, and Na'Vi, well, they lose this fight as quickly as they initiated. It's a triple kill for Fader. The entire team is wiped, and that looked like the last bit of a YOLO. GG, well played. Na'Vi will not be returning to the Commerce Bank Arena in Frankfurt for the ESL One LAN Finals, but Cloud9 will. They take it 2-0 over Na'Vi. That felt very comfortable for Cloud9.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that was a very hard. The second game after the mid game, or like rather early game progression of, I felt like that probably Funix spin this entire gyrocopter snowball with giving him the first blood. I just feel like, I'm not sure, too greedy to get that rune. He probably thought that he would be out, but maybe he learns from it next time.
Maybe. Well, the next time won't be in ESL unless they're going to wait for the next version of ESL. Who knows when that one will be. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But for now, ESL, we have the end of the qualifiers. It's over as far as the qualifiers go. The main event's coming up this June, so it's going to be absolutely massive. If you haven't got your tickets yet for ESL 1 Frankfurt, make sure you do so. It's going to be well worth the fly-in and to basically be able to enjoy the wonderful world of Dota in a huge-ass football stadium. It's going to be terrific. And the teams we've got on board, like EG, Secret, and VG Gaming with the 3 direct invites. We had Team Malaysia, who qualified from Southeast Asia. Let me just double check my list to make sure I don't get it wrong as well. As far as the European teams, Alliance and Virtus Pro were the 2 teams that came through the winners bracket, the upper bracket part of the qualifiers. And of course, Alliance are looking even stronger. They've still got a long way to go, but they've got the potential to prove themselves at ESL 1 Frankfurt. And then the last team from China, who's currently competing in the Red Bull competition, and they'll be coming back as well. IG, the defending champions of Frankfurt. They won that last time they were there. So a fantastic lineup, and now Cloud9 gets to top it up. So I'm fairly certain we've got the top Americans, the top Europeans, the top Southeast Asians, Southeast Asia team, as well as the top 2 Chinese teams. So
it's going to be very interesting. And I guess one thing to mention about this event, can Europe come back to slay the Chinese at this point?
So far they haven't. ESL 1 Frankfurt was IG winning it. ESL 1 New York was VG Gaming winning it. So far China has taken both of the ESL 1 crowns.
I actually rather meant recently, just because with the last MLG event, how you could see how far the Chinese teams are ahead, and there were several interviews about seeing the comparison of Europe and China, and I felt like in the very end of the last patch, you just seen China was too far ahead.
You're talking about Start Ladder, right?
Yeah. Oh, it was my bad.
Yeah.
It was Start Ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were just too far ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Obviously, you'll have to wait for it, though. It's still a month away, but it means you can book all of your tickets, all of your travel. Make sure you get there. You got a raffle as well you can enter too, so if you're looking for some free shizzle, you can get it. We'll be displaying the card, which you'll see right here on the live stream. So just go to the website, follow the details, and you can win yourself some awesome free stuff. And hopefully, we'll see you all at the LAN finals. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. It's going to be a terrific event, and we'll see you there.